49ers fans, is Sam Okuwanu and Jordan Elliott and Kevin Givens and Malik Collins enough to make up for the losses of Drake Jackson, Javon Hargrave, offseason guys like Eric Armstead? In today's show, I talked with one of the biggest football fans I know with an inside peek into one player that the 49ers were linked with. I think you're going to like his take. If you're new here, I'm Nate. Love talking the 49ers. Please consider a like and sub. But the headline is this. According to Sporting News, ESPN's Dan Graziano picked DJ Jones as a great trade candidate due to the Broncos' early season struggles. My man Ben Kolb from Sports Talk Denver gave great insight into this deal. I'm going to share a clip with his take on it in a few minutes. But comment below first, off the cuff, what would you do? Would you do it? Would you do a deal with the Denver Broncos to bring back DJ Jones to the Bay Area? Would you bring him back to the Bay? If so, what would it take? What would it take for you to bring DJ Jones, who, albeit only 3 games into the season, small sample size over the course of a long season, but right now he's on track for having the best season of his career right now. My goodness. I know. 3 games in. But would you do that? Here's what Sporting News said. Then we'll get to Ben Kolb's take in a minute here, and it's pretty interesting. I think you're going to like it. Dan Graziano of ESPN labeled Jones as an obvious candidate to be traded at the end of last week, right before they won against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which was a huge upset in my mind. Early returns indicate the Broncos could be in for a rough season, and Jones predates Coach Sean Payton there, which could mean the writing is on the wall. Jones turns 30 in January, so he's not likely to be a candidate for a long-term extension with the new deal, but he could help a contender as a half-season rental. Jones had 6 tackles and a QB hit through just the first 2 games. And I guess the question for us 49ers fans is it truly Super Bowl or bust? Because if it's truly Super Bowl or bust, then the 49ers might need to get real with their defensive line situation that has been way, way below what everyone's expectations have been. This Broncos defensive line is probably top 5 in the first 3 weeks. That's how well they played. They looked insanely good in the first half against the Seattle Seahawks. Then this weekend, they absolutely were half of the reason that the Broncos were able to defeat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That defensive line just absolutely destroyed Tampa Bay all game long. Now, I spoke to my man Ben Kolb from Sports Talk Denver about whether or not he feels that this is realistic, and if so, what would it take? Here's my man Ben with his take on DJ Jones to the San Francisco 49ers.
Germany to get his Achilles looked at. So
that was not what was supposed to happen there. Let's try again.
Would Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos move on from DJ Jones and ship him over to the San Francisco 49ers? In short, I think yes, they would if the price was right. The Denver Broncos have quietly shocked the world with how incredible our defensive line has played. We were able to go out this offseason and just really snag John Franklin Meyer, a starter for the New York Jets, and we got him for a 6th-round pick. And so I would say anything above a 6th-round pick, I could see the Denver Broncos moving on from DJ Jones for. He is in the final year of his contract. I think he could be a great fit for you. Sad injury news, and I think the Denver Broncos have a long history of just a great relationship trading with the San Francisco 49ers, a great organization. True. Kyle Shanahan probably should have been the Denver Broncos head coach, and we really blew it on that one. But in short, I think, yes, he would be a huge upgrade for you. Obviously, he's not going to match what y'all just lost in injury. But I think he could be a great player, and he has not had to go to Germany to get his Achilles looked at, so that's also a plus. But I think anything over a 5th-round draft pick, anything over a 6th-round draft pick I could see. I think what would make the deal a done deal would be if somehow we could get some receiver depth from you in return. I know Pearsall is probably off the table, but maybe the dude y'all had who's been struggling with drops could be on the table. But looking forward to watching the video, and we believe.
Well, I'm going to disagree a little bit, Ben, with one part of your take. I think you're absolutely right on paper that he would not be an upgrade. DJ Jones would not be an upgrade over Javon Hargrave. And on paper, you're 1,000% correct. But what the 49ers fans have seen out of Javon Hargrave I do think it would be an upgrade considering. And we're going to break that down in a second here. But overall, I mean, comment below on this one. Would you give up a 6th rounder, maybe even a 5th instead, maybe a 6th or a 5th, plus Ronnie Bell for DJ Jones right now? I would say, I mean, obviously right now is not the easiest time to be giving up wide receiver depth at all, but I would do that deal. I would do it. Call me crazy. That's fine. I would do that deal. A 6th rounder and Ronnie Bell, who right now, if I'm Kyle Shanahan, I put Ronnie Bell in the doghouse anyways. And guys will be coming back from injury. Brandon Aiyuk will find his feet. Juwan Jennings clearly has his feet. So I would do that. Absolutely. This defensive line needs help, guys. They need help. Let's break down what it would actually look like player-wise in terms of what we have versus what we could have, because I think that's kind of key here. So if we just take a quick look and go back a walk down memory lane on DJ Jones, his key seasons that my highlights all disappeared, so I'm sorry. You're just going to have to look at the numbers with me here. But his key seasons would be 2021. That would be a big one. Had 3 sacks the previous year. Went on a little streak there where he got some sacks, but that's probably not what you're asking for him. And what the 49ers need right now is serious run stopping, and they were not going to get that out of Javon Hargrave if we're all totally honest anyways. That was not the value he was providing to the 49ers anyways. So, yeah, if you could get a little bit of, get a sack here and there every once in a while, and you could help stop the run a little bit better, my goodness, I'd take that for sure. And you look at this season, I know only 3 games in, but he's on pace to have a much better season than he's had even in the past, which is good. He's a decent player. Now, just look at those numbers. Just look at total tackles, right? If you look at just his tackle numbers and, a couple of sacks here and there, whatever, and then you compare that to what we have, which is Malik Collins, who I think is, going to continue to be a starter. He's doing a decent job. I'm not going to say anything bad about what Malik Collins has done so far. I think you brought him in to stop the run. You weren't looking for penetration, so you're not looking for him to have insane sack totals, and you'll be happy that he gets a few. Then you look at Jordan Elliott. Okay, we'll have to see what he can do because he's kind of Javon's backup guy, right? We saw Sam Okuwanu in there. Where's Sam? Sam Okuwanu was in there this weekend. Came in for a snap or whatever and had a nice little moment, but okay, we're looking at guys here now. Okay, Kevin Givens. We're looking at guys who are not getting the kind of production that DJ Jones has had over his career, and we also have to remember it's not about is DJ Jones necessarily better than all of these guys, but it's also a depth issue. The 49ers have a serious depth issue right now on the defensive line, and I think you gotta solve that problem. You gotta fill it, and if it means shipping off a wide receiver who everybody's really upset with right now, and I don't think any 49ers fans would be massively disappointed. Let me know in the comments if you disagree, but I don't know that many 49ers fans would be massively disappointed to lose that. Yeah, the 49ers have been pretty good with those late round picks, but I would always take a proven thing. Even though he's toward the end of his career, I guess that's an issue. I don't know if you want to add an aging player to your aging roster necessarily, but I like the move if the 49ers are serious about this season right now, right? In a vacuum, this is a good move to me. This makes a lot of sense to me. In terms of long-term play, I think you could get away with losing a 6th round pick for a guy who we really need a guy like that right now. That's what we need. And that's why Dan Graziano brought it up. That's why we're talking about it. That's why I had to contact my man Ben, biggest Broncos fan I know, and get his take on it. So, let me know what you guys think in the comments. I look forward to joining you there. I had one more thing I wanted to throw at you if you have a few minutes here. There was a really interesting take on Brock Purdy from Richard Sherman. And if you missed it, stay on the line, guys. Stay on the line for this. I'm going to pull it up because this is exactly what I was talking about yesterday. We need more guys out there saying what Richard Sherman said yesterday or last night or maybe this morning. I can't remember right here. Listen to this.
Relevant and playing elite football. So if you talked about doing
stupid,
I thought this was
yeah, it's an error on my part. I keep doing that, hitting the hotkey button. Sorry, here we go.
It was a statement game for Brock Purdy because they say He can't do it without his weapons. He can't. What is he going to do when Kittle's out? What is he going to do when Deebo's out? What is he going to do if Christian McCaffrey? Well, all three of them were out. He threw for almost 300, 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. He ran the ball for 41 yards. He's a good quarterback. He's an elite quarterback. I'd say he's one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the National Football League. And if you give him the same criticism, then please give it to Joe Burrow. Please give it to every quarterback that you think is elite that has not played that way, because he's playing that way and you don't want to give him credit. Don't tell me T. Higgins is hurt and that's why Joe Burrow is playing the way he did, because that's asinine. That's hypocritical, because you're saying, so now he needs T. Higgins to be able to reach his potential. So he's not alone special. He's only special if he has T. Higgins and Jamar Chase and all these weapons and Joe Mixon, or is he special in his own right? He's a heck of a quarterback, but he does need help. And I'm trying to get people to understand, you got guys playing some really good football right now that will never get credit because of what you think of them or what the past. Geno Smith played a really good game, has played, with the 2 interceptions, that'll take away from his performance. But Sam Darnold was forgotten about, left for dead, not relevant, and playing elite football. So if you talked about the top quarterbacks in the National Football League right now, it's not necessarily the highest paid guys. It's not. And if you talk about this list and you don't mention Brock Purdy, then you're a hater. Then you're just a hater. You're just a guy who doesn't like low round picks, overachieving and playing above what you expect them to do, and you want to continue to go with things that are the way they're projected. Hey, this guy was a first-round pick. This guy I think should be good, so I'm going to say he's good, and I'm not expecting this guy to be good. So even if he's playing good, I'm not going to give him that kind of credit.
Massive respect for that take, and he's not wrong, by the way. I'm sure Jacksonville right now is looking at balancing those checkbooks and feeling a little bit hard done by their situation. But listen, I think the take is great. I'm not going to go super long on it because I think we've been talking about it. It's 49ers fans know it, and I think most of them already believe it. So I'm going to call that good there. I think we are way comfortable with what Brock Purdy has done and the ways that he's proven himself, and he deserves a lot of credit. And no, he's not going to be perfect. Yes, he's going to have bad games down the line, and there will be haters. There will always be haters, and that's fine. No one's trying, even like doing the top 5 thing, which I massively respect Richard Sherman giving his take, top 5 quarterback right now in the league, throwing guys like Sam Darnold out there in that mix. And I understand, in form, power rankings style of top 5, I feel you 100%. I'm with you. You want to do the top 5 best quarterbacks, pound for pound or whatever, then it just gets messy, and that argument kind of takes away from what Brock Purdy brings to this football team. We don't need to compare him to Tom Brady. We don't need to compare him to anybody else. Let's just be stoked that the San Francisco 49ers have a star quarterback who went out there without all of his weapons and really did an incredible job getting the ball to the hands of so many players. And if you take those 6 drops, which were all on the money, you take those 6 drops away, then he is 28 for 30 this weekend, and it would have been 350-ish yards, something like that, for 3 TDs, if not more. And that's just crazy, guys. That's crazy what Brock Purdy did, and he deserves this kind of conversation, all right? We don't need to do the top 5s. We just need to say what Brock Purdy did this weekend deserves the awareness, the credibility, the conversation, the national appreciation, and he doesn't get it because the game was over and the 49ers lost. But I thank you, Richard Sherman, for this one. Thank you for that, because you know what? Faithful appreciates it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Look forward to joining you there as always. What a time to be alive.